The Cookie Run fandom is actually crazy. Seriously, how does a game made for kids have people who gossip, bully, and overall be weird people? Well, I think it's best to start off by telling you the 5 scariest words you can say to anyone in a fandom. I ship X with Y. Many fandoms have fierce shipping cultures, where one pairing is met with worship, while another is met with angry vitriol. Let's begin our story with among the most divisive ships, Pure Lily. Looking into the Fandom Wiki's comments section for the page, it's a war zone. In the game's canon, Pure Vanilla and White Lily Cookie were close friends straight from childhood and supported each other through thick and thin. It's heavily implied that Pure Vanilla is in love, while on White Lily's side, it's a little more ambiguous. And that's where a lot of the tension stems from. There were times throughout the game where the developers gave little hints about if or not they were in love, but ultimately left it up to interpretation, especially after the incident. The story's ambiguity led to many fan interpretations. Some people became so strong in their beliefs to the point where they will cause edit wars on a wiki website when they really should be doing their homework. According to this one Reddit comment, there was once a time where fans of Elder Lily, a competitor ship, decided to flood the Pure Lily Twitter hashtag with fan art of their ship and attack those who called them out. We in the business call that doing a little trolling. Another account is a little more serious. There were once these artists who drew fan art of Pure Lily as it was their favorite ship. However, some people were not fans. They felt entitled to see their favorite artists draw their ship. One person got so angry that they harassed one of the artists for a month or 2 in their emails, up until the point where they doxed them over fan art of fictional cookies in a relationship. When onlookers confronted the doxers, the perpetrator was like, "If they'd drawn pure cacao, they wouldn't be in this situation." When the story got out to the wider fandom, people were embarrassed that such jobless behavior happened in the freaking Cookie Run fandom of all things. No other doxing incidents have happened since, at least to my knowledge, but it's definitely wild to consider that you could be in danger for saying that you ship one character over another. As the wise Donkey Kong once said, pure vanilla cookie is meant to be passed around like a blunt. Sharing is caring. Well, as long as it's legal. Cookie Run is an export of Korea, so it tends to attract a lot of love from its home nation and supporters abroad, from the good moments to the bad times. This story takes place during one of the darker moments of the Korean idol world, the Burning Sun scandal. The Wikipedia page for this scandal is very long, so TLDR, Burning Sun was a prestigious nightclub in the city of Seoul that was headed by a famous idol, Seungri, and attended by many of the big kahunas of the idol industry. A notable area of the club are the VIP rooms, where those same men can have a more exclusive experience. But behind closed doors, they did horrible things to women. They filmed them secretly and shared the videos around group chats for sick entertainment. The victims couldn't really speak out since these videos could be used as blackmail. These crimes were all kept hush-hush, thanks in part to bribery with the police. All of this only came to light in January 2019 thanks to whistleblowers, some of whom were idols themselves, which then exploded into a scandal of great proportions that everyone in the country had an opinion on, and the police had to start doing their jobs for once. Many of the perpetrators received disgustingly short prison sentences, especially Seungri, who was released after 3 short years in 2023, and nowadays keeps a low profile. Super TLDR, it's a Korean version of a Diddy party, just the system included. What does this have to do with Cookie Run? Well, in the game, there are these things called guilds. It's a way for players to team up in a co-op mode to fight bosses and farm items, and you can name them to anything your heart desires. Someone in 2019 had the idea to name one of their guilds to the Korean spelling of Burning Sun, and the players had usernames similar to the ringleaders. Mind you, this appears in a game that is marketed toward kids. It's like if you're playing Hypixel and you see someone with the username New York Financier 53 and he's playing PvP against a 16-year-old girl. You can tell where this is going. The scandal was still fresh in Koreans' heads, so people were not happy. They began criticizing the guild itself. In response, the leaders tried changing the name to something less controversial, but its members responded by mocking the Twitter users who criticized them. In turn, many went on Kakao and Twitter, condemning the guild and attacking the developers for even allowing such heresy, warning that, if you don't ban that guild right now, we're gonna review bomb your game, and we will never come back. Dev sisters were like, alright. I don't think they made a meaningful response to the situation, if one at all. Eventually, the guild and its members were banned, people moved on, and the incident became a slightly humorous chapter with ties to one of Korea's darkest moments in recent history. Let's say, hypothetically, you want to cosplay a character. How far will you take it? You bought the outfit, you styled the wig, and you applied some makeup. And for this story's cosplay, good stuff so far, the foam work is rather impressive. But then you realize that the cosplayer is a white girl. This cosplay of Golden Cheese Cookie ticked off a lot of people because it looks like an example of blackface. Oh boy, racial issues, politics, my favorite! Back in July 2025, this became the drama of the week on cosplay TikTok, and was surprisingly not an open and shut case. I feel it's best to present their viewpoints and let you form your own opinion. Those who criticized the cosplayer stated that this is an obvious case of blackface. A light-skinned person painting themselves to portray a darker skin tone, which in this case, the cookie is dark-skinned. The idea of race and cosplay is oddly contentious in the anime community. If you've ever seen a dark-skinned cosplayer's comment section, it's a war zone full of ignorance. Seeing this white cosplayer change themselves into a dark skin tone and get praise for it, it didn't sit right with some people. However, there were a surprising number of people who came to the cosplayer's defense. Their reasoning was that, A, the intent was purely for cosplay, not to harm. In their view, painting yourself a different color for cosplay is fair game, because it's all about the intent. Blackface was made to mock people in the colonial times, while for cosplay, it's just for fun. Plus, the Cookie Run cookies are cookies, so technically, they don't have a race. Sure, buddy. It honestly reminds me of Ganguro Gyaru fashion, where, oh no. However, their intention was to go against Japanese societal norms of beauty and express themselves more freely. If the spray tan is how you accomplish it, I mean, good for them, I guess. And B, blackface is not as historically sensitive in the cosplayer's origin country, Russia, as it is in the English-speaking world. Different actions and symbols are more sensitive in different areas across the world, and in the United States, our history with race relations is pretty tense, and that has leaked into the culture of cosplay here. I think the most I can realistically say is that the whole idea of changing your skin tone just to become 5% more accurate to the original art of the character is kind of tiptoeing the line for me. I think it's in really poor taste to do that, and there are some better options out there, but maybe that's the American speaking in me. I want to hear your thoughts on it. It's not a Phantom Tales video without talking about a forgotten cryptid. We'll have to go back to TikTok for this one. A lot of the finer details on the incident have been lost to time. I'll try to reconstruct the story to the best of my 6'7" IQ ability. Meet Twizzly Haha. From the archives that still exist, she was just your average TikToker, posting about her life and her love for Cookie Run. She gained a rather sizable following around 2021 and 2022 due to her safe and fun content. The same cannot be said about Twizzly herself. Much of Twizzly's trouble came from her Discord server, where people began to notice that she had some lax moderation and spoke some juicy language. Twizzly's humor is on the edgy side, aka she told Discord bots to KYS. She apparently compared afros to broccoli. What? The second of her troubles came from her alleged harassment of Caramel Arrow's voice actress, Danny Chambers. People began to call them out in September 2022. Twizzly began losing tons of followers, and thus she had to make a response. She claimed that the slurs were fake images, but half apologized on the Danny thing. Even though some people came to her defense, it did not work, as the condemnation continued, and soon she would receive multiple bans from TikTok because, well, it's frickin' TikTok. You can get banned for sneezing the wrong way. Twizzly has never been seen again, with only reaction videos on TikTok among the few surviving pieces of evidence of the incident. I was at a local con recently, where one of their biggest sponsors was Cookie Run. They featured a Q&A panel between fans and developers. I know very little about Cookie Run, but hearing the passion in those guys' voices while they geek out about some niche aspect of Cookie Run, it makes me feel that the majority of the fandom are just full of nice fellas. Maybe a little immature, but my room looks like this, so who am I to judge? When you're in a fandom, I don't know, do what your heart says is right, as long as it's not a crime in your local area. Amen. Whoa, gosh, oh no, oh! Oh gosh, that was the bite of 87!